Hey everyone, welcome back to part 4. This is the second sunrise. In our previous episode, Nirvaan finally invited Ahaana into the ancient haveli that he had cared for over the years. Together they wandered through forgotten corridors, silent libraries, hidden staircases, and royal chambers untouched by time, until they discovered a magnificent room that seemed just to have been waiting for them. There, as friendship quietly gave way to love, the ordinary became extraordinary. A mysterious performer appeared from the shadows, dressed in brilliant colors. He rose effortlessly into the air upon flowing silk curtains, scattering a shower of vibrant powders that transformed before Nirvan's eyes into the wandering ascetic he had met beneath the banyan tree. With a gentle smile, the old man spoke only one sentence. Second chances never arrive wearing the face of the first. Before Nirvan could understand what it meant, voices echoed through the haveli. The family had returned. Secrets were about to collide with destiny. Now, with the corridors filling up with laughter once again, Nirvaan and Ahaana had only one choice: run. And sometimes, it is while running from the past that we finally find the courage to walk toward a future. Part 4. The Chase. For one suspended moment, neither of them moved. The haveli, which only minutes earlier had belonged to silence, was filling once more with life. Voices drifted in from the front courtyard. "The trunks go upstairs. Careful with that." "Where's the cook?" Children ran laughing through the entrance hall. A dog barked excitedly. Someone was already complaining about the journey home. Nirvan's heart sank. The back. Ahaana nodded. A little earlier than expected. She looked at him and then at the door. Then, despite everything, she smiled. "I suppose this is where sensible people panic." "And what do you do?" "I've never been particularly sensible." She gathered her dupatta, grinned, and whispered, "Catch me." Before Nirvan could say a word, she was gone. She darted into a corridor, her laughter echoing through the empty wing. And Nirvan followed hurriedly. "Ahaana!" "No shouting! We'll bring everyone here." "Oh, you've already done that." She looked over her shoulder. "You're the one making all the noise." "I'm chasing you." "Exactly. That's noisy." She disappeared around another corner. The upper floor of the haveli became a maze. They hurried through corridors lined with fading portraits, past balconies overlooking the central courtyard, and through rooms that smelled of sandalwood and old paper. At one point, they nearly collided with two servants carrying folded carpets. The servants bowed politely to Nirvan. He bowed back with what he hoped looked like complete composure. But the moment they passed, Ahaana burst into another fit of laughter. "I cannot believe you bowed. What was I supposed to do?" "They've known me for years, and they would have become suspicious if I hadn't." She covered her mouth, trying unsuccessfully to stop laughing. They reached the old music room. Ahaana slipped inside and hid behind a grand piano that hadn't been tuned in decades. Nirvan entered cautiously. "I know you're in here." "No, you don't." "I could hear you laughing." Silence. Then, a tiny snort. He walked slowly toward the piano. Just as he reached it, she slipped out from the other side and darted back into the corridor. He closed his eyes. "This is unfair. It's enormously unfair. And wonderfully entertaining." They crossed a long balcony overlooking the main courtyard. Below them, the household had all but fully returned by now. Servants were unloading trunks, and children chased one another around the fountain. The old gardener was already inspecting flowers as though they'd misbehaved during his absence. No one looked up. Not yet. Nirvan breathed a sigh of relief, only for Ahana to whisper, "Quick!" She ducked behind one of the carved stone charokas. A moment later, Meher herself crossed the courtyard below, elegant as always, speaking with relatives, completely unaware that only one floor above, the caretaker and a girl were hiding behind carved sandstone, trying not to laugh. Nirvan instinctively stepped farther into the shadows, not because he feared being seen, because old habits die slowly. Ahana noticed. She said nothing. But then she remembered. They finally reached the rear wing. Here the haveli changed. The polished marble gave way to rough stone. Servants' passages replaced grand corridors, and a narrow wooden door opened into the outer wall. Beyond it, sunlight. Freedom. Ahana pushed it open. Outside, an old maintenance ladder leaned against the wall leading down to the orchard below. She looked over the edge. It's only 10 feet. Nirvan looked. It's definitely more than 10 feet. It only looks higher. That's generally how high it works. She laughed. You're impossible. No, I'm cautious. Same thing. Before he could protest, she swung herself onto the ladder. Halfway down she looked up. You coming? I don't think I have a choice. Not anymore. She reached the bottom safely, and the moment her feet touched the ground, the ladder shifted. One loose rung snapped, and the entire ladder slid sideways and crashed into the grass. Nirvan stared down in disbelief. She looked up, tried to look concerned, and failed completely. Oh dear. He folded his arms. You did that on purpose. I absolutely did not. You enjoyed it? Perhaps a little. Nirvan looked around. No ladder, no easy way down. He sighed the sigh of a man resigned to poor decisions, and then carefully climbed down the low parapet. He found a narrow projection in the stone. Another, and finally he jumped. He landed rather less gracefully than he'd imagined. A puff of dust rose around him. His dignity remained somewhere on the wall above. Ahana, though, applauded politely. Very heroic. I twisted my ankle. Oh, you absolutely did not. No, but it sounded convincing. The orchard stretched before them. Old mango trees cast cool patches of shade across the afternoon earth. A gentle breeze carried the fragrance of ripe guavas. Ahana had wandered beneath one of the oldest neem trees now, and sat with her back against its trunk. She patted the ground beside her. Nirvan sat. For several moments, neither spoke. The excitement slowly settled into quiet. Somewhere nearby, a koel called. The orchard seemed wonderfully far away from the noise of the haveli. Finally, Nirvan took a deep breath. I should have told you. She looked at him. Told me what? Everything. He stared at the ground. My name, my work, the haveli, Meher. He stopped. It wasn't just that she owned the house. He swallowed. I loved her. The breeze seemed to pause. Years ago, I believed. I truly believed. And she loved me too. For a while. Or perhaps she did. But she moved on. I didn't. I stayed back and kept looking after the house. I kept pretending it didn't hurt. But when I met you, I wanted to tell you. I truly did. But every time I thought, if I tell you now, this ends. He finally lifted his gaze from the floor and looked up. And then I discovered that you're her sister. I should have walked away. I didn't. I'm sorry. Silence, complete silence. Long enough for him to wonder whether he had already lost her. Ahaana plucked a neem leaf from the ground, turned it between her fingers, then asked quietly, "Are you finished?" He blinked. "I think so." She looked at him and smiled. "Good, because now it's my turn." She turned and shifted so she was facing him fully. "I've known you for weeks now. I know the man who stops to move earthworms off the road after the rain." Nirvaan looked surprised. "You noticed?" "Well, I notice everything too." "I know the man who apologizes when he bumps into trees." He laughed softly. "I know the man who knows the name of birds most people have never even seen. I know the man who drinks tea without sugar because he says cardamom should be allowed to speak for itself. I know the man who repairs broken things before anyone asks." She reached out and placed her hand inside his. "That man is the one I came to know. Not your job, not your past, and certainly not my sister." He stared at her. She squeezed his hand gently. Second chances aren't given because the first story was perfect. They're given because it wasn't. Nirvaan smiled. For the first time, with no caution, not briefly, fully. The kind of smile that reaches into the eyes. The kind that had been waiting for a very long time to exist. Ahaana tilted her head. There. That's the smile I was looking for the day we met in the bazaar." He laughed. "It took you long enough." She stood and brushed the dust from her clothes. "Come on." "Come where?" She looked toward the haveli. "Home." Nirvaan hesitated, and for the first time in years the word didn't frighten him. That is the end of part 4. Thank you.